DJ Lina here with TENz here at Gatano for our new party, Moda Tropicala. Where does my love and light come from? That is definitely instilled from my grandparents and my family, and that has literally carried me through everything that it is that I do today. And when you have that from the get-go, there will be no mascara or any dark clouds that will ever come into your life, because that helps me walk my path every day and keeps these two beautiful cherubs on my shoulder away from that darkness. So my grandmother gave me the name Girlina when I was very young. Her best girlfriend's name was Girlina, which is a Russian name. I was in front of her mural and she's like, Girlina, and that was it. And she's like, that'd be a cute name, right? I was like, yeah, I like that. It's fun. Made her this whole, phenomena, if you will. And then, as you grow up, you go from a girl to a woman. Drop the girl, it's Lina. Most definitely. I mean, balls were synonymous to just club culture back in the day, especially in the 70s, when it was everyone, you know what I mean? It wasn't just the ballroom scene, you really did. You had models, you had actors, it was a New York situation where it brought people together, and I remember one of the amazing ones that Patricia Fields, the House of Fields did, and of course Love Ball back in the day. So many who can remember the first though, but you have to be able to get off before you can get the crowd off. So if I'm not getting off and I'm not turning myself out from behind those 1 and 2s, honey, you're not gonna get off. You know what I mean? So it's always strange to me when I see other DJs who are just standing there and throwing these beats. And I'm like, how are you not moving? How are you not feeling this? But that's just me. And that's what's so beautiful about East DJ, is that they bring something special to the game, She moved to New York, probably early 90s. Again, I grew up here, so I would see her around, and there was a thing called Miss Kitties. There were these girls, and they would go around the club with these things over them, and they would have everything from cigarettes to candy to everything. And she was a Miss Kitty girl, and I would always see her, and I'm like, oh my God, she's so cute. She's giving me Linda Evangelista, and we would always see each other and say hi, this and that or whatever. Then Mistress Formica introduced us outside of the situation one time, and then Mona Foot used to do a successful thing on Tuesday at the original Crowbar down on 10th Street between A and B called Star Search. So she would host that, and each girl would come in and they would compete. Well, at that point, I'd probably won for 10 weeks. Candace came in and we competed against one another. I won, and I ended up winning for 18 weeks. But then we became sisters after that, and we decided we would never, ever compete against one another. And then I ended up taking over Tuesdays and naming it Swirl, and she took over Wednesdays and named it Disco Crisco. And then Mona Foot moved over Star Search over to the Pyramid. Some real legendary tea for you, honey. Trans women back in the day were only viewed as sex workers, and even the gay and the lesbian community completely ostracized them, and there was no commingling, you know what I mean? And I even remember when Candace and I started, and we were coming out and we were trans, and those girls didn't see us because we had already had a visibility and a platform, where they were just oh, you girls were showgirls, and now, you know what I mean? So the visibility that comes to me in my inbox from girls from all over the world, and being able to help them is helping me at the same time. And the fact that we're all connected is genius. So yes, I do see it, and it is pretty amazing, but I also do still find that there is a disconnect between the community. It sucks that we try to ask for so much homage and visibility and love from everyone else, when we can't even sometimes get it right in our own backyard. There's still that separation. You know what I mean? But yet, honey, why are all the queens, honey, up in the yags, honey, on Halloween, honey, giving you all of that? But yet they're not there for their dark sister, trans sisters, honey, when we have issues. You know what I mean? It's no, there's no reason why this should be happening when we're supposed to be such a huge, large, together unity. No, because guess what, darling? When anything happens with a Caucasian, I hate to say this being a biracial person, but also being just a person of love and light where I don't see that kind of situation, that I hate that it's thrown in my face now, that it's just like, really? Y'all can't see this? But any moment that something happens with a Caucasian man or a woman who happens to be a lesbian or gay, oh, the news is lighting that up. There's been way too many sisters of color being taken down and nobody's doing jack. And the worst part is that our community's not. Well, for one, modeling for a company that embraces diversity is amazing right now. Because back in the day when Candace and I were doing runway shows for Gautier and Dolce & Gabbana and Mugler, it's like we were brought in just as us. So, if people didn't know, we were just brought in for being the personalities that we were. You know what I mean? Just like when we were doing movies, it wasn't because you were trans or any of those things. I think that anytime you have to throw those accolades out and say that I'm the first, you're really not living in your truth as an artist. You don't gotta say that you were the first one to do anything, or else what are you doing? You know what I mean? You're living for everybody else's roar of the applause when you should be doing it to feed your soul as an artist. So, to come out of retirement and to, pump the runway for an amazing a company that has such an amazing inclusion of so many, not just genders, but body shapes and colors. It was like a Benetton fucking runway, like next level. It was beautiful. And I really felt very honored and privileged to be a part of that. My sister's Candace doing our two-woman show, our first two-woman show. Mind you, we've performed forever all over the world, but doing a show where we're actually writing and kind of calculating and putting out there. We've never done this. And Chip, who does Spin Cycle and at the Laura Beachman Theater, he's like, I have been waiting to do this with you guys for a long time, and people have asked us, but we just never had the time. And we just said, you know what, this is that moment and this is that time. Let's do it. He asked us to do a 2020 engagement and take it on the road. So it's going to be pretty special. And also for the kids that don't know us together are going to get a 101 schooling on, how it is that we came up together. I have 2 movies that I'm working on that I'm going to be filming in 2020, which I cannot believe is almost coming. I'm like, where the hell has this year come? But most importantly, we have all got to get out there and vote. I'm so excited to just see how amazing the young school generation is being proactive with politics. That wasn't something that we ever had to do or ever really had to worry about when we were younger. So it's nice, and because it's dire straits now, it's important more than ever to be able to have your voice heard, but you don't get to have a voice and to scream and say anything if you're not voting. So everybody, please get out there, regardless of whatever it is that you're doing, just vote. Make your voice be heard.